everyone, my name is Marin Guevara and welcome to the channel. Here we talk about books, movies, and more. So a huge hello and a huge thank you to anyone who is just clicking on this video, who is returning, who is a new subscriber. Thank you, I greatly much appreciate you. Now today on this video, I'm going to be talking about book cover tastes. Specifically my book cover tastes. I know there's that famous saying that we don't judge a book by its cover, but I really do think that a beautiful book cover sort of enhances a bit of the reading experience. And I know for a fact that a beautiful illustrated cover, or just a beautiful cover in general, has tipped the scales for people to check out a book, to try it. And, you know, they end up discovering that they do love it. And as someone who's a bit of an artist myself, I do appreciate art. I also really like how a book cover can introduce you to an artist that you may have, never heard of before. I know that I have sought out artists because I have seen their work on a book cover. And, book cover design, it gives opportunities to designers, to illustrators. And although, a beautiful book cover isn't the meat and potatoes of reading, I do really like how, it is part of the physical experience of owning a book. So with regards to that, I feel that, it's good to have an appreciation for these designers, for these illustrators. So I'm going to be going over some of the book covers that I really enjoyed. This will be completely subjective. I'll give my reasonings as to why these covers in particular, appeal to me, what draws me to them. You'll definitely have different opinions and I'd love to hear it. Now, I've split these up into several different categories, and the first one I'm going to discuss is what I dub Cohesion and Distinction, and these will be mainly for series. And of course, since I'll be talking about series for this section, I have to mention The Books of Babel by Josiah Bancroft, and I have to show off this shirt. This is a Senlin Ascends Books of Babel shirt that you can get on Ian Leno's website. Ian Leno has done the illustrations for this book series. I'm not affiliated. This is not a paid promotion. I'm just saying that if you're a fan of the Books of Babel like me and you want some merch, go check it out. So yeah, that's Senlin Ascends. Had to get this one to rep for my boy Senlin. So let's talk about the series themselves and the design. One thing I like about this series is that, one, they have like this uniform sort of like tan color to them, and they all possess this sort of like charcoal black illustration of the tower, which is very important because the books center on this Tower of Babel. And then each of the towers have a different person, or at least with the Sphinx, it's an object. And, this image is significant to the story of the book, and they all just look cohesive. You know that these books are from the same series, but with the different colors, with the different characters on them, you know that there's going to be sort of a shift in focus in each of the books. So Senlin Ascends, this one's going to focus on Senlin. The Sphinx, if you know who that is, there's going to be a focus on this character as well. And then you have the third book, The Hod King. And then the fourth book, The Fall of Babel. These books are considered, or I consider them to be, fantasy steampunk. When I walk into Barnes & Noble, I'll find these in the fantasy section. And when I browse through the fantasy section, a lot of the covers are going to have like character illustrations where a character is either standing, posing in some way. Maybe they're crouching or they're holding a weapon. They have, it's a group of people, or maybe it's a landscape, or there's like a beast on it. But the thing is with these covers, like Ian Leno's art style is so distinct and so unique that it really helps set apart this series from sort of like the rest of the books that you can find in that section. One thing that I forgot to mention is that I believe the reason why I'm so drawn to Ian Leno's art style, or his covers for the Books of Babel, is that the designs, at least to me, are reminiscent of German Expressionism, or that's just the vibe that I get. They do remind me of a lot of the woodcut art that I've seen when it comes to the German Expressionism art movement. I think it mainly has to do with like the blacks, the shadows, and everything. I don't know. I think that's another reason why these covers like appeal to me so much. So yeah, that's the Books of Babel. Really like this art style. Very distinct, very cohesive. Now, another series that I do want to mention for, this category is The Mirror Visitor Quartet. So this is another one of my favorite series. It's a translated work from French and it's fantasy. So we have the first book, A Winter's Promise. The second book, The Missing of Claire de Lune. The third book, The Memory of Babel. And then lastly, we have The Storm of Echoes. Now these, as you can tell, all have highly detailed, beautiful illustrations of locations that are significant to the story. Now, similar to the books of Babel, this art style is just so unique that, at least to me, they pop when they're on the shelves. Once again, when I'm like in my Barnes & Noble or my Books A Million or whatever bookstore I am, and I'm going through the YA fantasy section, this is where I usually find it, it just looks so different from the surrounding books or series. Like when it comes to YA fantasy, a lot of it is character illustrations, like it's a sea of character illustrations, and then you see the Mirror Visitor Quartet, and it's just these, beautiful, detailed sketches. They only differ with the color, like they have a flat matte color for each of them. But yeah, they really stick out and they really catch your eye, at least for me. They all look cohesive together. They all look like they're part of the same series. However, they do stand out, and they stand out for a good reason. So the next category to my book cover tastes is actually character illustrations. I'm quite partial to character illustrations, and when I find one that really sort of like arrests my attention, it sticks with me. So one example that I have here is Miranda and Caliban by Jacqueline Carey. This is a retelling of Shakespeare's The Tempest, and this illustration is done by Tran Nguyen, who I'm sure you've seen her work. She's done illustration for like Spin the Dawn duology, for Six Crimson Cranes, so on and so forth. She's quite prolific, I would say. What I really like about Tran Nguyen's art style is just that there's a sort of like grand elegance to her illustrations. And I also really like the soft colors. And in this one in particular, it's very dark, dreamy, melancholic even. And I think that fits the story quite well because this is a tale about unrequited love, of doomed love. So not only is it beautiful, I think it does fit the book. Another artist that I do want to mention is Tomer Hanukkah, who did the illustrations for the redesigns of the Lunar Chronicles. Now, I'm not gonna lie, these illustrations or like these new redesigns basically got me to reread the Lunar Chronicles and finish it. And what I really like about Tomer Hanukkah's, style, it's very unique. I use that word a lot, but it's true. It's a very unique, special art style, like the way he depicts people. I also really like his bold choice of colors. I really do. Now, this art style may not appeal to everyone. They might find it a bit weird looking, but I really enjoy it. Granted, I wish that the covers there's something about them that sort of alluded to the fact that these are sci-fi retellings of fairy tales. Like, for instance, in Cinder, by the way, these have step-back art, which I really like. I really think that this would have been a good cover for the book because, like, the image, it's a girl in a ball gown. She's going down the stairs. You see a guy chasing her. You know that it's, like, Cinderella. But then you see, like, the cyborg leg and the cyborg foot. So that immediately makes you think of, sci-fi. So, these are sci-fi retellings of, fairy tales. And yeah, I really wish that he could have incorporated the fairy tale more in the cover. But I still think these are absolutely gorgeous. And that's the thing with books sometimes. Owning these type of books is like owning pieces of art from artists you really like. So yeah. The last one that I have to show you for character illustrations is quite different from the rest, but that is The Haunting of Hill House by Shirley Jackson. I love this cover. I think that it just captures the story so well. This one is done by Aaron Weisenfeld, and then Paul Buckley did the cover design. This is just gorgeous. Look at this. I feel that it's a type of cover that the longer you stare at it, the more unsettling it is, which I think fits the story of The Haunting of Hill House a lot, because it's not an outright scary story, and that disappoints a lot of people. It's the type of horror that's just unnerving and creeping. And just when you look at this, I just like this illustration. Like, You see her cold, dead eyes. You notice that the proportions are just off, like her limbs, her arms are just a tad too long. And then you have like the stark black and white coloring. I know, it just works. Moving on to the next category, we have patterns. And I feel like there's no better representative of this category than the Penguin English Library editions. Now, these are my favorite classics to collect. I absolutely adore them. The UK really knocks it out of the park when it comes to designing classics. I love how they're simple, but they're very attractive, and they have patterns on them that are significant to the story. So for instance, Two on a Tower, you have it's about two lovers who kind of meet on an observation tower, and it's about their sort of doomed love. One of them is like an astronomy student, so he's like tracking the stars, and this is really fitting. And I love the blue that they chose, like it's the night sky. And then this is my favorite cover out of the Penguin English Libraries. That is The Hound of the Baskervilles by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. Simple, yeah, it's a bunch of moths, butterflies, but the colors are so bold, they arrest your attention. It's just stunning. So yeah, the Penguin English Library collection is a prime example of how you can have a simple yet stunning cover, one that can sort of grab your attention, but also reveal a bit about, what you're getting into. For the last category, we have paintings and photographs, which could be a bit controversial in the sense that, I know a number of people don't care for paintings or photographs as the covers. I know that a lot of classics make use of paintings, and to me, sometimes they get it, sometimes they don't. But when they get it, they get it. And I really do feel that over the years, like the Penguin Black Spines, the Penguin Modern classics, they do a good job of like choosing what type of painting, portrait, or whatever for the cover that really fits the story. So one good example I have here is Thérèse Racan by Émile Zola. This is a painting called Melancholy by Edgar Degas, and I think this is really fitting. This is very much a story about temperaments, 4 types of temperaments that are kind of put together, and the ensuing inevitable drama that is, that is to unfold. And yes, there's a lot of despair and suffering that does happen, a lot of guilt. So I do feel that this portrait, fits the story. And then another one I have here is Perfume, the Story of a Murderer by Patrick Suskind. This is The Sleeper by Jean-Jacques Henner. That's the painting. But this is a story of a man who was born with sort of a heightened sense of smell, like a supernatural or superhuman sense of smell, and his goal, his dream to achieve is to create like the perfect scent. And where he gets the materials for this perfect scent, so yeah, I feel like I saw this cover and I thought, oh yeah, that's perfume for sure. And then when it comes to photographs, I have here In the Country by Mia Alvar. So for those who don't know, this is a short story collection about the Filipino diaspora, following Filipinos who have moved to the Middle East, to the United States. It even follows a person who visits the Philippines, and it follows Filipinos who decide to stay in the country. And I really liked this image that they chose for this book. The stories take place, I would say, like 60s to modern day, and there's just this sense of nostalgia for me when it comes to this cover, because as someone whose family's from the Philippines, this photo looks like something I would unearth from a family album. Just the woman's hairstyle, her clothes and everything. It's just, I look at it and I do think like Filipino. Like this could have been like a tita, like a photo of her that I kind of just stumbled upon. And to me, like this really fits. This really fits that sense of history, that nostalgia of sorts. So those are all the book covers that sort of appeal to my taste. And I'm very interested on hearing from you guys what you think. Do you agree with my assessments? Do you like the covers that I've shown you? Do you not? And if so, leave a comment down below. Explain why. What type of book covers do you care for that you like seeing? And so yeah, thank you for watching this video. Your support is very much appreciated. If you like this video, please, give a like, subscribe, all that jazz, and I'll see you next time. Bye!